Alright, in this video I'm going to be repairing the 6-inch mid-bass driver from the 9000 Saab. I accidentally cut my camera mic wire, so I'm having to narrate the first part of this. But one thing you want to check here is to make sure that everything looks good as far as the wiring going to the cone. You want to check, make sure that there's free movement, there's no scratching when you're moving the cone up and down, that it moves freely when in the proper alignment. And this speaker looks great. The spider, which is down below underneath the cone that holds the voice coil, is in good shape. There's no cracks or splits, and it's pretty flexible. To be as old as this speaker is, Clarion speaker, it's in really good shape. So I just wanted to refoam it. There's the spider, checking it to make sure it's in good shape. The leads going to the voice coil are okay. The gasket fell off. You have to cut that off to do the refoam, resurround, but that one fell off. So all we have to do is clean up around the lip of the basket to get the rest of the media off. Now what I bought here from Parts Express, partsexpress.com, they sell refoam kits for a whole bunch of different size speakers, and they also sell them for specific models like JBL, Bose, Shure, Vega, etc., that have specific profiles of the surrounds. But for our 6-inch mid-bass, a 6-inch, 6.5-inch kit will fit both 6 and 6.5 inch, as long as the width of the cone itself is 4 inches, and these are 4-inch cones. So what you get in the box, you get 2 foam surrounds replacements. You get some dust caps, because you're going to have to cut the ones off that to realign it. You get an instruction sheet, which is pretty simple. I'll take you through the steps here. And then you get a bag of glue, foam swabs, and supposedly they say it's special speaker glue. It smells like Elmer's, but when it dries, it's very flexible. You also get shims, plastic shims, and those are for the voice coil alignment. First thing we'll do, we'll clean it off. We'll give it a good light brushing with a detail brush to get all of the dust and dirt off the cone. Around the basket. Now, I'm going to go through and clean up around the edge to remove all the old surround material or any of the gasket material that's left. You also want to go around the cone itself and make sure there's not any bits of the old surround hanging off the edge of the cone. There's a little bit left on there. That one came off, so we don't have to cut that one off. Typically, you would go around the edge with a razor blade like that and cut it off. You can see here that where the surround was. I'm just going through and removing the excess material. Be careful when you're doing this, because the cone is going to be almost, if not the same level as the lip there on the rim. And it's very easy when you're doing this to tip the blade down and actually catch the cone and cut it. It's okay if there's a little bit of damage, because the replacement surround runs up a little bit. Now I'm going to be throwing some lacquer on this. All right, microphone's working again. Gave it a nice coat of lacquer here. I think we're good. Go ahead and start with the dust cap. There it is. You just want to cut right along the inside edge. You don't have to get it all the first pass, because you kind of want to see where you're cutting. Just stay in the dome right on the edge. You'll be all right.
Everything looks good. I kind of want to clean up a little bit. You can see right there where the bus coil wire runs down. You do not want to cut through these two wires here. The new one is going to fit on top of these, so we don't have to get it all. Just want to get as much as possible so nothing will end up breaking off and falling down in the gap. Somehow bounce up and get down in here. That would not be good. And you don't want to cut through the coil, the cone. Definitely take your time. If you do cut through these wires, it's game over. So scrape and cut around them. That looks good. Make sure there's nothing down in here. We'll give it a little tap tap. Let me go grab some canned air and we'll blast it out. So let's grab first the bag. We'll get the shims out. I'm going to put one shim there and then one directly across from it. You may have to flex it a little bit. These might be a little too thick for this one. They're all the same thickness too. Bend them a little bit. There we go. I don't know if we're gonna be able to get one. Should get two more there, but I don't know if it's gonna make it or not. Yep. I believe there are some differences in thicknesses in these. Those are the same, so not for those. Let's see if I can get one more right down in there. Yep. Now it is not going to move. It is centered, well, as best as we can get it centered on the magnet pole. So it is not going to move. Put these up. We'll use them again. You can reuse those too. All right, next step is to glue to the cone first. Remove gasket material, remove old foam from the cone, remove dust cap, align it, glue surround to the cone. So we know we're going to need at least down to the first rib. Get that little plastic off the end. I think that is too. I'm just gonna cut that off. I reckon I will anyway. You were so easy to cut before, and now you don't want a good cut. Jeez. All right, starting to get tacky. I gotta hurry up. All right, now we're gonna take the foam piece. We're gonna wanna center it up. And then go back right along the edge here. I don't need that much. It's gonna run everywhere. Definitely don't need that much. I'm making a mess. Just clean it out with a little water before it cures. It will dry pretty clear, or pretty transparent. I wouldn't say clear. Yeah, I know there are people who do this all the time there, but they're probably saying that I'm really messing this up, and it looks horrible. This is the first time I've actually ever done this, with this kit anyway. Let's let that cure, and then we'll be back to glue it down to the basket. All right, looks like we're pretty much cured here. Everything is attached securely to the cone. So now we need to glue it down to the basket. And in order to do that, we need for this edge of the cone here to be pretty much even with the flange where this is going to be glued down. So with the shims pushed in, we're going to grab and pull up while the shims are in there until the cone is either even with or slightly above the rim, the flange right here. You can also turn it to the side and look. That looks pretty good. There's a little bit of a raise. So when we glue it down, that's probably not the full excursion, but it's part of the way that it will actually be pushing out. So now that it's separated, it's not touching, we need to get another swab. And you're going to put a very thin layer of glue along the rim on the flange, and then we'll come back and put just a very thin coating on the outer lip of the surround. And then you have to let it sit 5 minutes until it is tacky, and then we'll go around and we'll push it down. So all right, now we'll give it a few minutes and then it should bond to itself. Okay, let's go ahead and start pressing the surround down. If the glue is still really wet, it is not going to stick down and stay. So you really have to wait long enough for it to start to cure per the instructions. Let me grab one of the ones. Right there didn't stick that well. We'll come back and test areas that don't stick. It happens. Like that right there did not stick, and that might be too wet. We'll give it a few minutes. We'll come back and we'll test areas that did not stick and we'll re-glue them. All right, let's try it.
try this one again.
Alright, let's see what happens now. I think it's tacky enough for it to finally stay down. At least I thought it was. Don't want too much on the top of this because we still have to glue the gasket back on. I'm just trying to get some down on the edge right there. Let's let that cure, and then I've cleaned up the gasket, sprayed a little paint on it to help with moisture control, and then we will glue that down. Once that's done, we'll be gluing a dust cap on. I think I may do the plastic one first. It's a lot bigger than the other one, but it should be okay. All right, it's all cured. Not pulling up anywhere. Let's glue the gasket back on. Do you believe it? That's the wrong way. Will it fit either way? Yeah, I guess it will. This side had foam from the surround, so it goes down that way. So we'll break this thing off. I just need something to smear. Whoops. Don't need the shims in there anymore, because where it is where it's gonna be. Perfect. Not rubbing at all. Put those back in the bag. And we've got a glue on the dust cap. We got one more to do after this one. All right, and try to drop that down as even as possible. Let's let that cure. Here's the finished product. It looks like there's a little bit more glue right in here that needs to cure, but I mean, it's done, ready to be installed.